Well, this is my most recent project. I called it Moomin Park, and my thought process was the way I build my parks is I place all the rides in. Using terrain, I sort of paint out all the areas of the park, so I'm going to place all my rides, and then I go through the pathing, and I basically, the way I do things, I don't know about other people, but I build them in layers. So I do rides, do paths, and then do the theming. So this coaster here is called the Butterfly Coaster, and the way I basically built it was I placed down the ride and designed the layout. Then I went through and done all the pathing under the ride, and then I went through and added all those trees.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, what goes behind like when you name your rides? Do you kind of have a name in mind or a title in mind before you build your roller coasters, or usually do you name your rides after you finished them?
I always name my rides after I've finished them because I don't know how projects can go. I have projects which I start, in my mind they're going to be one thing, but they turn out a completely different thing. So the reason I named this ride the Butterfly Coaster is because I found some sort of wings, and for some reason I just thought they looked like butterfly wings, so placed them on the ride and just got stuck. Well, this black coaster here is called Wipeout, and I basically take inspiration from other parks. So there's a park in the UK with a ride called Wipeout. I just can't steal the name off that one. As I'm a realism builder, I build realistic parks. I just think of what would a real park do in this situation. So this park has a lot of just sort of standard names. On some of my other projects, I try to be creative. Over there is a water park. That was just me experimenting because I've never built a water park before. I didn't know what I was doing. That red building there is a maintenance building, so that's where all the engineers and maintenance is done on the rides.
And that's something people may not realize too when building a theme park. You know, there's always a section for the maintenance people and the staff. Like that, if I was playing Planet Coaster and stuff, and I was like new at it and everything, I wouldn't even think to like necessarily, make sure I have a building for staff and mechanical engineers and all that stuff. So that's good that you added that detail in there. What's that on the bottom? Like, I'm not sure if that's a right or not, but on the very bottom
on the left
left.
here.
Yeah.
This. I found these on the Steam Workshop, and what parks do a lot, most people don't realise it, but what they do is they build temporary rides and then just dress them up as permanent rides. So I found these inflatables, so I decided to put them in the car park, because theme parks in real life do this a lot, where if they're running out of space, they build rides in the car park.
Wow, I did not know that.
For a bit of fun, I'll do that. Six Flags is a pretty big park in America, and they do that a lot. Amongst nerds like me, they do have a reputation for car park coasters.
So you said sometimes theme parks will have temporary rides just as for show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, a lot of theme parks do this.
Mm-hmm.
Alton Towers done it last year, where if they want to build something new, but they don't want to spend a lot of money, they will buy some temporary rides, like rent them temporarily, and then just send them back once they're done with them.
Okay. And those temporary rides are not to actually be to ride, right? They're just for show.
They are for riding.
They're for riding. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you mention about the ride? You mentioned the temporary rides. They'll put it sometime near the parking lot. Did you say that?
Yes. Lots of theme parks do this. When they're limited on space, they build rides in the car park. I know it sounds a bit weird, but Six Flags does this a lot. What they do is basically just close off the car park and build rides in the car park.
What made you decide to create this theme park in this kind of this scenery, this environment, this kind of like in a mountain, foresty type area? What made you choose that instead of like maybe a tropical area or a desert or something like that?
Well, one of my favourite parks in the UK is called Alton Towers, and that park is just built in a forest. There are trees everywhere, and because I love that park so much, I wanted to build some rides going through the trees and stuff. So I built a bunch of trees on the outskirts of the park, and then I built all the rides in like the centre. Yeah, that was basically my thought process.
I see you have one parking lot area, and then you have another parking lot area on the right. Was that done on like purpose, or you kind of just said, "Oh, I'm gonna just split up the parking lot into two," or did you create one parking lot maybe for staff and other people, and then a more general parking lot for the riders, or how did you map out the parking lot area?
Well, pretty much every park has multiple car parks. So you'll have a main car park, you'll have a staff car park, and you might have a drop-off zone for things like taxis and buses. And then there's other things to think about, like overflow car parks. So most parks do have multiple car parks for different purposes.
I'm trying to see here.
Yes.
How many entry points do you have in this park right here?
Well, this is the only park.
Okay.
This is the only entrance to the park.
Gotcha.
But in that area there is there's a road there, so you can. So guests coming in by car can either come in through there or through there.
Yeah, and I guess perhaps if a mountain lion wanted to come visit the theme park, he could just come from the back and just enter whenever he or she wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this is really cool.
So you can try that.